price for what we're enjoying today. Excuse me. And there were some who were detained, harassed. Some people were amputated. Some lost their valuables. They paid dearly for what we are enjoying today, but unfortunately, those who fought for this subsisting democracy, most of them are not at the ends of power. So it's those who are like most of those who are governing us or are found themselves in the political terrain are like most of them are opportunists because they didn't pay the price for what they are enjoying, so they don't really know what it takes to have it. You know, it's like there's this thing that says that whatever you don't struggle for, you don't value it. The likes of Senator Abraham Adesanya, who was shot during Abacha regime, and somehow he was able to, he got over that assassination.
Alfred Rwani too.
Yes, who was assassinated.
Yes.
And a host of them like that. If they were alive today, I am very much sure that this democracy will have even, emerged better than what we're experiencing today.
Yeah, you said something, and I'd like us to really dwell on it. You said the democracy that some people are opportunists that actually are in power now. You need to expatiate on that. We need to know what you're actually talking about. Is it that they were not part of the struggle, or those that struggled are not in power, or what's the situation?
You see, democracy, it's an ideology. And once you don't understand the ideology that makes democracy what it is in developed countries like United States of America, because it's like Nigeria's democracy, the system of governance is being patterned after that of the United States of America. If you don't understand the rudiment of that ideology, it will be difficult for you to govern well. Because when people get power, in this part of the world especially, they believe it is their own turn to, amass whatever they can amass, gather whatever they can gather, so that, generations after them will not suffer. But the fact is that everything hangs in a box, 6 feet, whether you like it or not. But if people have, the consciousness that whatever I'm amassing to the detriment of the masses, or the people whose trust, or whose mandate, or who has entrusted you with their mandate to govern their affairs. If you betray that social contract and you think it's your turn to amass wealth, and you amass as much as you can, at the end of the day you will leave it behind. And once that is done, history or posterity will always judge you, because there are some of our leaders in the past that they were privileged to govern us, and generations after we still make reference to them. The likes of Ahmed Bello, the likes of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the likes of Adekunle Ajasin, and a host of even Bisi Onabanjo of Ogun State. You have Bola Ige of Oyo, and a lot of them like that, because even coming to Lagos State, Alhaji Lateef Jakonde. When Lateef Jakonde was governor of Lagos State, he lived in his private house, and he was coming to the secretariat from his private house for the time that he governed Lagos State. He governed Lagos State for about 5 years or so.
4 years.
4 years. It was not a year, for about 4 years. And that was all. Till today, you don't need to go to any university to understand the rudiment of good governance. There are schools all over the states, primary schools, university, that, even housing estates. He didn't name those estates after himself. He just developed those estates built schools, and after he has left office, people are now referring to those infrastructure developments after his name. If you, for example, now you are going to Lagos State Development,
property development,
the
housing estate,
yes, at Solo.
Yes,
people just say, oh, Jack on the estate.
Yes, I understand. Now you try to explain certain things to us. Now, what seems to be the problem with the politicians or the leaders? Are they not patriotic enough? Are they not thinking of the masses enough? Because we see also projects that are also being done. Yes, it may not be generally to everybody's satisfaction, but we also see still the projects, but some seem to be selfish from what you have said. Now, how can we address that problem of leadership and corruption?
This is very simple. I think it was nice that sang a song that if you want to swell in our politicians, let's go through the traditional means of swearing them in. Because this, the belief system of Bible and Quran, has changed our value system as Africans. Because, Africans, I grew up in an environment where your word is your bond. But these days, like, the Christian will say, grace covers, we are in season of grace, and so the grace of God is sufficient for us. And a politician will loot Commonwealth, goes to his church for Thanksgiving, or even, there are some of them that even, bankroll religious activities. And these religious leaders will not even ask a question, where is the source of your wealth coming from? Because they know if they do that, the man will, the public officer will not support their activities again, their ministry again. And there's, because of the popular by the balance that says that money is the will of the gospel, or I don't know if I'm right.
Well, I try to see. I know what you're trying to say, and I want to believe that the audience too will also understand that the politicians, the religious organizations should not encourage politicians who just bring in money, either to the mosque or to the church, that the traditional means should be followed. That is left to be determined. So we cannot judge that here. But let's also look at godfatherism in politics, because that's one issue that is also affecting. Should we encourage godfatherism or not?
Well, it's a two-edged sword thing, because the fact is that as youth, fine, we have the energy, we have the drive, we have the innovation, but we still need the experience of those who have gone ahead of us. Because there's this thing that says that what an elderly person sits down and see from afar, when a child climbs an iroko tree, you may not be able to, have
may not be able to
see it. So we need to work with those who have gone ahead of us. But the challenge I have is that in this part of the world, we have refined, selfless, politicians, leaders, but very few. Most of them, they will give you a goat and demand for a cow, thereafter. So how does the person who is being empowered politically, you've given him a goat and another demanding for a cow, how does he get it if not through looting of the commonwealth of the people? Yes, godfatherism is, it depends on how it is being manipulated, because the reality is that there is no path that you want to tread in this life that someone hasn't trodden on that path before.
Okay, I'm sure my producer will give me shots of what transpired over the weekend in Rivers State. Of course, we know that despite all odds, the Rivers State governor went ahead to hold the local government election. And when he held that election, of course, we know that the APC and the PDP did not take part in that election. But the election still held on Saturday. And interestingly, we heard that 23 local government chairmen were sworn in by the governor. Let's listen to him to hear what he has said about it.
Whereas desperate measures, we were confronted with a situation where the local government of this state was heading to do. And the truth about it is, because of the genuine love that we have for this state, we must salvage the local government council. And what we did with the support of the Rivers people was to salvage the local government council.
Okay, we just said, we just saw there that Governor Siminalayi Fubara is sworn in 23 local government chairmen just yesterday, and coincidentally and interestingly, those local government chairmen are not from his party, because the PDP is his political party and the APC did not take part in that election. But to our surprise, the Action People's Party that took part in the election won virtually all the seats, and he swore them in, and he said that he has to salvage democracy even at the grassroots. If we're to assess this, is it done in the right direction?
Well, first and foremost, I must commend the courage of Rivers State Governor, his tenacity, and his commitment to advancing and improving the welfare of his people, because the people gave him the mandate in the first place, and without the people, he wouldn't have been there. Of course, politicians have the way of doing their own things, but the reality is that the people gave him the mandate. What I see in Rivers State is that it's like I don't know, maybe sowing and reaping.
What do you mean by sowing and reaping? Is that something that he's done before?
No, when when the former governor emerged, the former governor, now Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, when he emerged, he had to dismantle the political structure of his predecessor, not minding where they were coming from. And today, the same card is playing out in Rivers State. So that's why I said it's like sowing and reaping.
Okay.
And of course, the young man, I'll be following his administration. He observed so much self-restraint that when his detractors were stoking embers of violence, he maintained high sense of decorum. And this time around, it is either because the minister of FCT doesn't want him to emerge as the candidate of the party come 2027. He has taken the structure of the party from him. And the man needs to, it is better you fight and lose than for you.
Yes, I need to cut in there. Don't you think governance should be his priority and not thinking of 2027? Just like the president said, I'm not thinking of 2027, I want to do things that will actually make Nigerians better. So why don't you think it's as a result of him wanting governance to get to the grassroots? That's why he has gone ahead to put to actually swear in the local government chairman? Yes,
he wants governance to get to the people, but at the same time, the candidates that emerge from those APP, which is a political party that the governor doesn't belong to. But if you look very well, or if you put your ears on the ground, you will realize that those candidates, they have the support of the governor. And as a governor, he needs those who can align with his vision, his programs, and policy to be able to drive home his vision for the state. If he doesn't have people that believe in him at the grassroots, then there will always be conflict of interest. And at the end of the day, the buck stops on the table of Mr. Governor. So he needs to work with those who believe in him. And it is believed that the candidates of APP that emerged at the local government elections, that they are people that will work in sync with the programs of the governor.
So don't you? I'm sure that most people, just like some people will applaud what he has done, some may also be against what he has done. But in the overall interest of development, do you foresee any legal action in the future because of this action?
Definitely, there will be legal action, and when it comes up, the law would, the court will interpret necessary, or applicable portions of extant laws that that governs such issues, and then we believe that justice will be done. So we can't rule out the possibility of litigation or the local government election being challenged in the court of competent jurisdiction. We can't rule that out, because I know that given the tendency of the person that the governor is contesting the political power and control of Rivers State with. So definitely we expect that they will go to court and justice will be done, and that will be seen to be done eventually.
From what we're seeing on the screen, that's the swearing-in ceremony that the governor had for the 23 local government chairmen in Rivers State. Now, but looking at that, we heard that the election did not go through the normal process, that BVAS was not used, that the Independent National Electoral Commission did not release. So how did the election now take place, or what would be the credibility of that election?
Well, the one thing is clear, that states independent electoral commissions organizes election for the states. INEC does that for the national. And in fact, on Saturday, it wasn't only in the Rivers State that had local government. There were about 4 states.
Yeah,
but it's Rivers State that is in the news. I don't know what the first about Rivers State is.
Benue too.
Yes, even Akwa Ibom, and then one other state in the north also. I don't know why there is, what the force is all about Rivers State. But the fact is that the police, they exonerated themselves, or they, how would I put it? Yes, from being part of the election. And interestingly, that election was free. It was peaceful. It was largely peaceful. Of course, there could be pockets of some contention somewhere, but it was fair enough, and that has set a precedent that local government elections in the nearest future, police as a government, a security arm or security agency, does not necessarily have to be part of that election, because there is precedence in Rivers State already. To the best of my understanding, there was no casualty on Saturday, and in the past, there been a record of incidents of violence.
Okay, but yes, just like you have said, there may be legal action for the court to interpret all this, but I just hope that we will not be belaboring the courts on issues like this, because they have other things to do. Why would courts always delve into political issues? It behoves on politicians also to do what is right, so that you will leave the politicians, the judiciary rather, to do what is expected of them, rather than just going through litigation for political libels and other stuff like that, or suits. It's also a lesson for us to learn. But on a final note, let me give you one opportunity to advise the Rivers State government. and the people?
One thing, there is this thing that says that power belongs to the people. If the Rivers State governor, Sim Fubara, realizes that it has pleased the Supreme Being to make him to be at the helms of affairs of governance in Rivers State, and he holds it a duty, a sacred one, to deliver on his promises to the people. And you see, good governance is not something you can conceal. Even like there's this thing that says that when rain falls, a blind person doesn't need to be told that it's raining. You will feel it. So good governance can be felt by any human being, every human being. So if he delivers on his promises on his promises to the people, I tell you, his return back, his second time in the office is guaranteed.
Okay, or to Nigerians also now, generally in terms of supporting the government.
As Nigerians, we must believe in this country. Our actions either make or mark the progress of this nation. There is nobody that is coming from, no angel will come from anywhere to come and fix Nigeria. It is our collective responsibility to fix Nigeria.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm afraid time is no longer on our side. I want to thank you so much, Elijah Ajanu, for being part of Talk Point today. Yes, on that note, we have come to the end of Talk Point. 767 and 112 still remain the line, so let's call. In times of emergency, stay out of trouble, ensure that you do acts that are capable of moving the nation forward and not something that will create problems for the nation. I am Omololu Rousseau, signing out.